This is Plavi Amando LFC, and I'm here to break down the game between Inter Milan and Barcelona in the 2024-25 Champions League semi-finals. Now, the first leg was played at the home grounds of Barcelona, and it ended 3-all to both teams. If you are here, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more videos. Now let's get into what I'm about to discuss today. And today, before I even get into it, let me just say, what a game. What a game of football for the neutral to enjoy. It had everything. Goals upon goals upon goals upon goals. You had brilliant play. You had risky tactics. You had defending at the highest level. You had defensive lapses, chances missed, crucial saves, and so on and so forth. It just had everything you wanted in a game. So let's get into it. Now, Barcelona conceded the first goal just around the 20th minute as a result of losing the ball in a very dangerous area in the middle of the park. And that was by Frankie de Jong, who tried to turn and give a forward pass, but he was robbed by Di Marco, who kind of picked his pocket and gave a through pass to Denzel Dumfries. Denzel Dumfries then squares the ball to Lautaro Martinez to finish off the move. Inter Milan goes on again to score the second goal in the game right before the end of the first half. And that also came as a result of Barcelona losing the ball in a dangerous area, just around the halfway line. So Inter Milan breaks from there. And what happens is that there is a last-ditch challenge by Paul Kubasi, the young Barcelona defender. And at the first look of it, I thought it was an excellent challenge. I thought it was a brilliant last-ditch tackle that got the ball. But after VAR review, we saw that he actually went through Lautaro Martinez and didn't actually make contact with the ball. I think Barcelona fans are a bit angry about this decision because they thought this is not a clear and obvious error that should have gone to VAR. And of course, they argue that the defender, Paul Kubasi, got a touch on the ball. But clearly, you can see here that he never made contact with the ball. He actually did get Lautaro Martinez, and Lautaro's right leg was actually what kicked the ball as a result of the force applied by Paul Kubasi. And so the referee went to VAR, looked at the footage and the video, and called it back for a penalty. And so that changed the on-field decision. So the penalty was expertly put away by Hakan Çalhanoğlu. He's one of the best penalty takers in Europe at the moment. So he converted that penalty so easily. The game went into halftime, and what happened was that right at the beginning of the second half, Barca came out flying. They came out putting a lot of pressure on the Inter Milan defense, and you could see that Inter Milan started to tire a bit as a result of the pressure. From my experience or from my observation, Inter Milan couldn't really close the gaps. They couldn't really go out to press the ball holder for Barcelona. So Barcelona had a lot of joy. They kept moving the ball around and creating chances. So Barca got the first goal right around the 57th minute with a cross from Gerard Martin, the young Barcelona defender. And I think this young player had been under a little bit of pressure coming into this game because of some below par performances before this game. But I think in this game, I wouldn't say he did exceptionally well, but I think he did very well because he was the assister for the first two goals that Barcelona got in this game. So in the first goal, he put in a great cross for Eric Garcia to tap the ball into the net from quite close range, I would say. And the second goal also came as a result of a cross outside the penalty area by Gerard Martin to the far post. And Danny Olmo was there to slot it home with a very calm and cool header. So I think this particular goal, the second goal Barcelona scored in this game to get the equalizer, is very similar to the goal they got in the first leg, the second goal. Now the game kept going on. I think right after the 70th minute, it was a more cagey game after the equalizer came. Inter Milan, you could see that they were trying to grab onto something because they were tiring. So after Barcelona scored the second goal, Barca took their foot a little bit off the gas, and that allowed Inter Milan to grow back into the game. Of course, Simeone Inzaghi also made some changes right after they conceded, I think, the second goal. So he made some changes and brought in fresh blood, and that allowed Inter Milan to kind of grow back a little bit into the game, and that allowed them to sort of begin to create a bit more chances, push Barca away from their goal a little bit, and get some breather. But out of nowhere, in the 85th minute, Barca got a chance. It fell to Rafinha, and he slotted the ball home at the bottom corner on the far post. So it was 3-2, and for me, I would say that at that point, I had concluded or given up because my prediction was that Inter was going to win. But after that ball went in the 85th minute, I thought that was going to be the end of the game and Barca would qualify. Anyway, so after the third goal went in for Barcelona, it was just 5 minutes remaining, plus the additional time the referee was going to put on. So there wasn't much time for Inter Milan to come back into the game. But I think something really weird happened, and it happened because of the way Barcelona plays. Actually, even before the Inter Milan equalizer came in the dire embers of the game, right, Lamine Yamal got a chance. He hit the post with that chance. After that chance went away, Inter Milan had just about 3 minutes to get the equalizer. And funny enough, something really weird happened. And that has to do with the fact that Jan Sommer kicked the ball long into the Barcelona half. And for some reason, Barcelona found themselves 4v4 after that ball was kicked. So you ask yourself, with just 2 minutes to go, what was the need for Barca to still push forward and leave 4 players behind to face 4 players from Inter Milan? So that was a very weird scenario, because with the time left, I think they should or could have tried to protect their lead a little bit better, rather than leaving themselves open to the attack from Inter Milan. So that was what happened. It was just a simple long ball into the Barca half, being won by Marcus Thuram. Marcus Thuram lays the ball over to Denzel Dumfries, and who is in the box to get the connection from Denzel Dumfries? It was no other person than Acerbi, who is a central defender for Inter Milan. So he ran forward and got himself into a position where he could receive the pass from Denzel Dumfries and tap the ball in. You could see that Pau Kubasi is the one marking Acerbi, and he had no chance getting in front of him because this is a big guy. And with Pau Kubasi's size, he just couldn't get around him. He used his body very well. In fact, this is a very difficult finish. When you look at the position of the Barca keeper, Wojciech Szczesny, and where Acerbi got contact with the ball, also considering the fact that he was being pressured by Pau Kubasi from behind. I think this was a very difficult chance to finish, but he did it in great style, almost as if it was a finish by a striker. So Acerbi got the last minute equalizer just around the 95th minute. And from there, you could see that Barcelona were a bit deflated by that equalizer, and they became a bit demoralized. So in the same half after the equalizer, Barca still got a chance to go ahead, and that was by Lamine Yamal. It was almost a one-on-one, even though he was under pressure by Carlos Augusto, right? And he couldn't finish the chance. Jan Sommer made the save, and it went to extra time. So in extra time, that is where the experience of Inter Milan began to show. And in the first half of extra time, Fratesi, who had come on in the second half of the game, got a chance in the penalty box, a chance that was created expertly and smartly by Marcus Thuram, who did all the work. He received a long ball, I think from Jan Sommer. He tried to pass the ball back, but he dummied and dribbled the ball back into the penalty 18-yard box. And he laid the ball to, I think, Barella. Barella laid it back to Fratesi. Fratesi sort of finished the ball really well because he was under pressure by Pau Kubasi, who was trying to block him. He faked to shoot, and Pau Kubasi kind of committed, tried to block the shot. And so when he committed and he was stuck on the ground, Fratesi buried the ball at the far corner of the post. So that was the fourth goal for Inter Milan. So it was almost game over at that point. There wasn't much that Barca could do to come back into this game. Now, a few other highlights that I want to touch on is the saves from Jan Sommer. Now, in this game, Jan Sommer made 3 big saves. The first save was from, I think it was from Eric Garcia. It was almost an open goal, and Jan Sommer was running back into the goal. Eric Garcia had a lot of space to play the ball into the net, but he decided to play it down the middle. And by the time the ball got close to the line, the goal line, Jan Sommer was there to parry the ball away. There was also another save by Jan Sommer in this game, which was absolutely incredible. It was a save from Lamine Yamal in the second half of the game, I think after the second goal. So it was a curled shot to the top right corner of the goal, and Jan Sommer did excellent to save that ball. And I think there is something that was playing out in this game in the sense that Jan Sommer is a very smart goalkeeper. He learned from his mistake against Barca in the first leg, where Lamine Yamal scored a similar goal. He killed the ball in the first half. The first goal Barcelona scored in the first leg. Lamine Yamal dribbled and curled the ball to the far post of Jan Sommer. So he knew that was always on. Lamine Yamal wasn't going to play a reverse shot into the near post. He was always going to go to the far post. So I think what Jan Sommer did was always to be alert and ready to jump to his right, because he knew Lamine Yamal was always going to take that option. There was another save, a third save from Lamine Yamal, again trying to go to the far post after cutting in from the right side of the pitch, and that was such an excellent save. I mean, you even marvel how a human being can make such a save. So that was for Jan Sommer, and there's no wonder he won the MVP of the game. because these saves he made definitely was what kept Inter Milan in the game and also saw them through to the finals of the Champions League. Now, there is something that Barcelona fans are complaining about. I think there actually may be a couple of incidents that Barcelona fans were not happy about. Also, the Barcelona coach Hansi Flick got a yellow card as a result of complaining to the referee about certain decisions. So I think on the whole, for me, the referee did good. He revved the game quite fairly, but I think there were certain decisions that went against both teams. Inter Milan could also complain of certain decisions that went against them, just as Barcelona are complaining. But I do think, on a whole, in general, the refereeing wasn't too bad. There was this incident in the second half of the game where Mkhitaryan tackled Lamine Yamal right on the edge of the 18-yard box. And initially, the referee gave a penalty, but then he was called to look at the video to sort of decide whether he wanted to change his decision. And he came back changing his decision. So this is the footage of the tackle. Actually, because I only have a picture here, when you look at the video, you realize that this tackle kind of continued a bit into the penalty box. So I wouldn't have been surprised if the referee had stuck to his initial decision of a penalty, because the contact continued into the penalty box. But hey, this could go either way. The referee decided that the initial contact was outside the penalty area, and that is what I show here. And for that reason, he changed his decision from a penalty to a free kick. So that is some of the things that went on in the game. Barca really feel hard done by based on some of the refereeing decisions. And I think they do have a case to some extent, but in all, I think the better team won. And both teams could have qualified. Any of the teams would have been deserved winners of the tie to go to the finals of the UEFA Champions League. So I do think that Inter Milan are in very good position to win the Champions League. Whoever they face, whether it's PSG or Arsenal, they do have a very good chance of winning the competition. I would give a lot of credit to Hansi Flick once again, because looking at the caliber of players he had and where he's been able to bring them to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League, I think irrespective of today's results, he's done a marvelous job. Considering the fact that he started with players in this game, particularly he started with players like Inigo Martinez, Eric Garcia, Gerard Martin, and so on and so forth. You know these players are not as experienced at the highest level. So for you to be able to get these kind of performances out of them in this game, I think it's absolutely marvelous. Now, going into the game, there was chat about the fact that Simeone Inzaghi had said in his press conference that they were going to double up on Lamine Yamal and try to stop him. But I don't think that really worked today. Lamine Yamal played an excellent game today, just like he did in the first leg. The only difference is that in this particular leg, he didn't score a goal and he didn't get an assist as well. But his play, he was always a danger man for Barcelona. Whenever he got the ball, Inter Milan defenders were panicking. They were huffing and puffing to try and do everything they can to stop him. But he did have a good game. I think Rafinha didn't have a really good game, even though he got a goal. Throughout the game, he was a bit part player in the game. He wasn't really creating much. He wasn't influencing a lot of play in this game. So I think that is the reason why maybe Barca couldn't go through, because everything rested on Lamine Yamal trying to pull something out of the bag, and today it didn't really go Lamine Yamal's way. I would also like to mention Simeone Inzaghi. I think he's done an excellent job to get to the UEFA Champions League final twice in 3 seasons is an excellent job. And the way he's coached this Inter Milan team to play on the transition, to rotate for a defender like Acerbi to find himself in the penalty box to score the third goal to get the equalizer in the last minute. If that is not down to coaching, then I don't know what is, because he gives these players the freedom to interchange positions all over the place. Defenders can join the attack. Midfielders come back to play as defenders when they have the ball, and so on and so forth. The way he's drilled this Inter Milan team to perfection is just wonderful to watch. I think one thing that really hurt Barcelona today is the lack of experience, because after they went 3-2 up in the dying embers of the game, they shouldn't have conceded the equalizer in that 95th minute, because I think what they did was that they still kept playing the high line, high risk, gegen pressing, high octane football, and that was what caused them, because they could have brought men behind the ball and caused overloads in that area, and I think that would have helped them to prevent the ball from even getting to Acerbi to tap the ball in the roof of the net in the first place. Because they didn't have numbers, Inter Milan had a 4v4 situation, and for a 4v4 situation, you are not really in control of what happens. When we compare that scenario to the period in which Inter Milan were leading 4-3 in the second half of the extra time, what we could see is that Inter Milan had numbers in the box all the time. At every single moment, they had more numbers in the box than Barcelona. And so in that case, even if you give a good pass or a great pass, if the first player misses it, the second player doesn't miss it. Even if everybody else misses it, you try to shoot and you hit an Inter Milan player. So I think that lack of experience on the part of Barcelona players really caused them today, and also the risky tactics that they've been used to. So it has become part and parcel of them. They do it automatically. So even when the game state demands that they sit back a little bit and conserve their energy and soak some pressure, they are not able to do it, because their instinct is to always push high up the pitch and try to press the opponent, which is what caused them in this particular game. So that is my take on this game, and I hope you enjoyed my breakdown of this game. If you like this video, don't forget, smash the like button, subscribe, and comment down below. See ya.